Fine wine investing requires 5 factors to assess the investment potential. Fine wine can appreciate over time, sometimes at rates comparable to stocks or real estate, but only if you know what to look for. The wrong bottles just sit on a shelf, never moving in value. In this video, we're going to discuss the 5 critical factors that determine a wine's investment potential. At the end, you should be able to analyze bottles like a professional investor, avoid common mistakes, and start building a portfolio that can grow in value over time. The first thing to understand is provenance. Provenance is the documented history of a wine, where it came from, who owned it, and how it was stored. Think of it like financial statements for a company. Without it, you're taking a huge risk. Here's a few things to always look for. First, documentation. Always ask for receipts, import-export records, and storage certificates. Missing documents are red flags. Second, storage conditions. Fine wine needs a consistent temperature around 55 degrees and about 70% humidity. If it's been stored in fluctuating conditions, it could lose value. Third, authentication. Rare bottles get faked more than you might think. Certificates from recognized authorities like LivX, Vinfolio, or Sotheby's protect your investment. Pro tip: always remember, trace the bottle's journey from vineyard to the cellar. Any missing link increases your risk. So always do your own due diligence. Never buy a bottle without verified provenance and authentication. Even if it's cheaper, the risk of counterfeits or poor storage isn't worth it. Next, we're going to talk about scarcity. Scarcity drives value in wine. If a bottle is easy to find, it's unlikely to appreciate significantly. Limited production is one of the biggest factors that make wine an investment-worthy asset. Here's a few things to always check. Vineyard size and production. Smaller vineyards or single vineyard releases produce fewer bottles, increasing scarcity and potential investment value. Second, special vintages. Weather and climate conditions affect quality. A 2015 Bordeaux might be far more valuable than a 2016 if the harvest was exceptional. Third, market availability. Look at auction records and secondary market platforms. Rare bottles command higher premiums. If a wine is widely available, it's unlikely to provide meaningful returns. Scarcity matters more than hype. Next, we're going to discuss reputation. Reputation is just as important as scarcity. Investing in wine is like investing in the best stocks. You want proven performers. Some wineries consistently produce bottles that increase in value. Others are hit and miss. Here are a few things to always consider. First, the winery track record. Look at historical auction results. It's always very important. Second, the vintage quality. Higher scores generally correlate with higher market value. And third, you want to consider critical acclaim versus market demand. Some wines receive excellent reviews but have limited buyer interest. Always cross-reference critic scores with auction performance. Always remember to stick with top-tier wineries with consistent, strong vintages. This reduces risk and increases your chances of long-term appreciation. A high reputation and exceptional vintage equals a higher probability of investment success. Next, we're going to discuss another key thing to always remember fine wine is only part of the investment. You've also got to remember you need to know who you can sell it to at the right time. You always want an entry point and an exit point on any investment. Know what you're going to buy it at and what you're going to sell it for in the future. The ability to convert an asset into cash quickly without losing value is key. So, you've always got to consider your time that you put into your investment. You've got to factor everything in. Always do the math. Here's a few things to remember. Always evaluate auction frequency. Wines that regularly appear at major auctions are easier to sell. Secondary market platforms is another thing to consider. Like LiveX provide insight into trading volumes. High volume equals higher liquidity. Plus, always consider buyer demand. Check if collectors and investors are actively buying the region, winery, or vintage bottles with global appeal are easier to sell. Rare bottles with minimal market recognition are better as long-term holds rather than short-term flips. Always remember to diversify. That's another big key to success. If you diversify your wine portfolio across regions and wineries, this balances your liquidity risk while maintaining potential returns. Next, we're going to discuss storage and aging potential. Wine isn't like stocks or real estate. You can't just buy it and forget it. Proper storage and aging are essential to preserving value. Poor storage can destroy even rare or expensive bottles. Here's a few things to consider. First, aging potential. Not all wines improve with age. Check the winemaker's notes and critic reviews. Second, storage investment. Professional storage facilities maintain consistent temperature, humidity, and vibration-free conditions. If you're serious about investing, this is something you have to pay attention to. That's very important. Next, timing your sale. Some wines peak after 10 or 20 years, others plateau sooner. Understanding the optimal window is crucial for maximizing returns. Only invest in wines you can store correctly for the expected aging period. Factor storage costs into your calculations. Something else, always remember that that diversification is the key. Don't put all your capital into one vineyard, one vintage, or one region. Spreading investments across is, the way to go. Balancing red and white wines, investing in vintages with different market cycles, just are something that everyone should keep in mind. Diversification balances scarcity, reputation, and liquidity risk. Even if one bottle underperforms, your portfolio still has upside potential. Appreciate everyone watching the video this week. Please hit the like and subscribe. If you like this video, we'll make another one next week, so be sure to come back and check out our latest video. Hope everyone has an amazing weekend.